Welcome back. Yeah, Johnson should be removed. Since Chicago people are getting tired of seeing destroying cities, so let's watch the video.
We're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, more problems for your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Brandy Boy Johnson, y'all. Did you know that he has fired at least 3 or 4 of his people in his administration? People of color, y'all, and women. Women and people of color, you know, the people that he loves to promote. Well, it looks like he's getting rid of them, y'all. In today's video, we're going to take a look at, he's trying to fire another brother, y'all. He's trying to get rid of another brother. This will be the 3rd brother in the last 2 or 3 weeks, plus a woman of color, y'all. We're going to take a look at that. But first, we're going to take a look at more problems for him because the teens in Chicago just keep taking over, y'all. They just keep taking over Chicago. And you know, Brandy Boy Johnson, well, he's a former social studies teacher. He doesn't see them as people who needs to be controlled. He sees them as pupils. Pupils without a teacher, perhaps, y'all. So we're going to take a look at that because Chicagoans are fed up, as you would probably be as well, y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
The Hyde Park community is demanding answers and accountability following a teen takeover last night. They damaged several vehicles. Leslie Moreno spoke to one resident who had a vehicle stomped on, and she's live with the latest. Leslie.
Hey, Don, good evening. Yeah, residents here in Hyde Park are extremely frustrated. I mean, we just saw one of these teen takeovers last week in the Loop. Residents here say that these are happening more often, and they fear that they're becoming more violent every time. Another teen takeover. This time in Chicago's Hyde Park neighborhood.
This didn't end until like midnight. They were here for a long time.
Crowds of teenagers flooded the streets, stomping and walking over vehicles. It's the latest incident in what police and city leaders have described as a growing trend of so-called teen takeovers. And where were you?
Right there.
Jason Hale says his vehicle was one of about 30 that were damaged.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The hood is completely messed up. It's terrible. I'd say like $1,000 worth of damage probably. I have dents everywhere, footprints everywhere.
These gatherings, often organized on social media, have been popping up across Chicago, leading to fights, property damage, injuries, and in some cases, death. Jason believes it's all about kids having the right guidance growing up.
Your kid should not be out here. When I was a kid, I wouldn't even think to do stuff like this. I'm just being honest, I wouldn't. But I have parents who guided me. They guided my decisions of what I did. These parents, they just let them run rampant.
So there you can see that Chicago teens, y'all, much like teens across the country right now, you can see that they are, not all of them, of course, but some of them, too many of them are out of control. They're wreaking havoc across the city. And local leaders are saying something must be done.
It's not just on the government to do that. We know that there are many community-based organizations, faith-led organizations, business leaders that are creating safe spaces and opportunities for our young people. Look, I've been in constant conversation with our alders around ways in which we construct.
Layman terms, he ain't done shit. Okay? In a way, he's the reason why they have a problem in Chicago. He's basically told Trump, oh, you're not coming in my own city. Da 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 da. So yeah. So yeah, in a way, he deserves what he gets. And now that they get what they deserve. So yeah, whatever happens to Chicago is Chicago's governor's fault. He made it way they can do that shit. So I don't feel sorry for what happened in Chicago. You should know I'm mad like that's going on. So yeah, whatever happens in Chicago, it's his fault. So let's go ahead and get back in the video.
Structure activity that does not put people in danger, particularly our young people.
To city leadership, I would just say something desperately needs to be done. I really hope that city leadership will come together and figure something else out.
We did reach out to Chicago police. They tell us 3 teen curfew violations were issued. They also tell us that a 16-year-old girl was charged with unlawful possession of a weapon and disorderly conduct. Don.
Hey, my name is Jerry Norton, and in the next...
So how is Brandy Boy Johnson, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, going to get a hold of things if he keeps firing everybody? We're going to flash back here shortly to how he's fired 3 top people in his administration, but now he's trying to get rid of somebody else, y'all. Another brother, as I said. He's trying to let another brother go, y'all. What's going on, Brandy Boy? Why you trying to let all the brothers go? Y'all, let's take a look at this latest attempted firing. Looks like this guy's like, I'm not going anywhere, y'all. Let's take a look at this. This is wild.
Mayor Brandon Johnson's trying to let go of another city leader. This time the guy in charge of Chicago's housing authority says he's not going anywhere, though. That's the group that runs public housing here. Paris Schutz talked to him and is here now with the latest. So what's going
Terrence,
on?
it's a familiar story. Haven't we heard this before?
Yeah, at least 3 times now.
So this time it is the chair of the Chicago Housing Authority. Matthew Brewer is his name. But Mayor Johnson says he is no longer the chair. Brewer says, yes, he is. Johnson tried to fire Brewer and install another commissioner, an ally, Joanza Malone, to the post. But Brewer's not going anywhere.
So there you can see that Brandy Boy Johnson is trying to get rid of another brother. But what did he do, y'all? Why is Brandon Johnson trying to fire this guy, y'all? I mean, again, it comes on the heels of him firing so many other people here recently, y'all.
Now, the dispute is over a board vote to find a new CEO for the Housing Authority. They voted 7-2 to select a man named Keith Pettigrew. Now, he led the housing agency in Washington, D.C., but Mayor Johnson did not like that pick. So the mayor has been pushing for former 27th Ward Alderman Walter Burnett to get that job. Remember, Burnett resigned from city council. The mayor appointed his son, Walter Burnett Jr., to replace him, and Burnett angled to get this CEO job at the CHA. But Brewer, the majority of the board say that Burnett wasn't even a finalist in the search process, and Brewer explained to me in a sit-down just about an hour ago why he believes the mayor is coming after him.
I think he's disappointed because he didn't get the candidate that he wanted. And you can disagree with the result, but you can't ignore the process. And he's trying to invalidate the process. Keith Pettigrew, Mr. Pettigrew, is slated to start April 20th. Between now and then, I will continue in my role as operating chairman, and we'll continue to get Keith ready to start here.
And just to loop you back in case you forgot or you didn't know, let's take a look at the other 3 people that the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago recently fired. You have, again, 2 top staffers in public safety, believe it or not. 2 of his top people in public safety who he just fired. And now another person who's also working with the public, another top staffer just resigned, and it looks like she's saying that something unethical is going on in the Brandy Boy administration, y'all. So he has lost 3 top people just over the last several days.
Yeah, it just seems like there's a trend here of high-profile folks either being fired or resigning or some combination of both. So what's happening right now? We're talking about the city's Human Rights Commissioner, Nancy Andrade. So that office enforces the human rights ordinance, protecting historically marginalized communities, protecting against hate crimes, as well as enforcing the city's fair housing ordinance. So Andrade has served in this role since 2021. She abruptly announced her resignation last night, effective right now. She sent a statement to Fox Chicago, and let me read a very intriguing part of it. She says, quote, "As the head of the CCHR, but also as a licensed attorney, I took an oath to uphold these values, as well as a strict code of ethics. My resignation is in service of that oath." Hint, hint, hint. Something is not right here in the 5th floor, as you can tell by that statement.
So she insinuates that there's something unethical happening in the Brandy Boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating administration, y'all. And if you want some more detail on that, thankfully, the reporters at Fox were able to get additional detail, you would have never guessed. Probably, I would have never guessed that this is what it would have been. But I don't know. I guess it's keeping with the times, y'all. This is the world we're living in nowadays.
Okay, so you have a statement there. Is this kind of in a line with what everybody else has been talking to you about the problems in the mayor's office and why people are leaving or being fired?
Well, yeah, and let's remind folks of what's gone on the last few days. Garyon Gatewood, who is the deputy mayor for public safety, he was fired because of a quote-unquote change in direction, but then we had allegations flying each way of a hostile work environment among the mayor's staff, among Gatewood's staff. What this is about, I've spoken to a number of sources, and this stems from a report that Andrade and the Human Rights Commission has put out on anti-Semitism. So what happened was there was a study that showed a rise in specifically anti-Semitic incidents going on. So her office put out this report that came out in February. But there was a dispute between her and the mayor's team. What I'm told by sources is they wanted to remove a lot of references to anti-Semitism and make it more about hate in general. But her point was this report is supposed to be about anti-Semitism specifically. And there is some concern among Jewish groups right now. I'll read a statement from 50th Ward Alderwoman Deborah